Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for the Cuckoo's Fiancee, or A Couple of Cuckoos, chapter 116. When we last left our heroes, Nagi was still reeling from not being able to answer Hiro's request for a date. So he sort of walked home in this sort of like shocked silence as he tried to work out why he couldn't just say yes, which seemingly was not based on his Erika feelings for the past several chapters. I'm a little confused. I think there's some ongoing translation issues here. But he doesn't know, he ponders what would happen if anyone else asked him out and can't really come to an answer. And he's just in this stupor until he stumbles upon Hiro's diary that somehow ended up in his backpack. And he realizes that he can't read it. And so he goes to Hiro's house and is like, I don't know anything about you because I don't know your handwriting, which doesn't, again, feel right. I feel like he knows a good bit about her at this point, but okay. It's a weird choice, this arc. I'm not sure how on board with it I am. But then he says he will go out with her so that he can get to know her better. And that's where we leave off. As Hiro sort of is crying, she thought she was maybe rejected there. But yeah, with that said, let's dive right on into chapter 116. If manga decks would fucking work for me. Here we go. So yeah, 116 foul. I don't like it after all. And our picture here is of Erika, I think. Like, the face looks more Erika than Sachi, but the hair length looks like Sachi. And this, like, Hawaiian shirt and jean shorts. I just thought I'd been rejected, Hiro said tearfully. What will become of the confession? We pick up right where we left off with that same line. Hiro saying, I just thought I'd been rejected. And Nagi's like taken aback at that, and Hiro wipes her tears away because she has not been rejected. And Nagi goes on, so you're saying that you'd be willing to go out with me? I mean, she asked you out first, bro. There's something weird going on here. Again, there's something about this whole arc that feels, even beyond just the translation, that just feels slightly off. Anyway, you'd be willing to go out with me? Yeah. And then she turns it on him. Once you beat me in the next midterm exam. And Nagi's just like, that's a tease, like, to drag Nagi out this far and to still pull this shit. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I think about Hiro here. What do I think about this moment? Because Nagi's just, huh? And Hiro gives him, like, a wink. Like, maybe she's still sort of, much like Erika was doing, wrapping up her feelings in, like, eventualities. Once this is done, once that is done, and sort of run away from it. Which is sort of what Nagi was doing at the start of the series with her, until he actually followed through. I don't know. And then she goes on, I mean, that's what we promised in the first place, right? Well, it was like 10 at the time, unless he's been doing it very consistently ever since, and we're on number 9 already. But Nagi leaves. He's like back in town, and he's thinking, she's right. It's exactly what it was, but Seigo-san confessed to me, so I gave her my response. In other words, both of our arrows should be pointing at each other now. We have this image of like arrows like swirling around, pointing at a heart. Though again, this all seems very we're just sort of ignoring the entire Erika arc of M1 that was very much about sort of Nagi acknowledging his feelings for Erika, and that didn't really feel like it got like I said last week, there was that moment on the yacht or on the ferry where like maybe if the translation was better, it might have said something about that. If I was like more trusting of the translation, but it didn't seem like it said that in the translation we read, so I just don't know. But even then, going out together still hinges on the results of our midterms? I haven't the slightest idea how things turned out this way. I've never had a problem even nearly on this level. And then he stops for a moment and realizes, no. The answer was there from the beginning, wasn't it? And he flashes back to that moment in the rain with Hiro. Show me that destiny can change, was the line there. And Nagi thinks, so this is it. The time has come. Which also ties into my growing feelings of, like, the series nearing an ending here. Like, not necessarily anytime soon, but, like, we're starting to see Cuckoo start to wrap itself up. Very slowly. But, there are signs in a lot of these more recent arcs that the series is kind of reaching a point where it could end at any time. It's still a harem manga, and, it will go on for as long as Yoshikawa wants it to. But, plot threads are getting wrapped up, is what it feels like. And so we cut to him at home as he's, bowing before Erika and Sachi. So that's why, for the next week before the test, please let me focus on studying. And Erika and Sachi, still in their pajamas, are just, kind of taken aback at this. And Erika turns to Sachi, "What? So you two weren't fighting?" And are quite the opposite. And Sachi responds, "Could it be we actually gave him a push in that direction?" In what direction? In again, is this weird translation? I feel like I'm missing something for every chapter. The direction of believing that they were fighting? Because Nagi never believed that. Or maybe Sachi just doesn't know what actually happened. Again, it just feels like I'm getting more questions than answers and things I don't think are supposed to be questions. That feels like a quick little joke. And not something I should be pondering. And yet, once again, I have to ponder. I just don't fucking understand. And Erika just laughs. "I see. So it's finally happening with Hiro-chan, huh?" Which again, it feels weird at this point in the game. Not even on a translation thing, but on the whole results of the whole aftermath of the M1 arc, that Erika is completely ignoring her feelings and is sort of, gung-ho helping Nagi and Hiro as just helping her friends get together. It's weird, and I don't know what's going on. This doesn't feel like, she's once again hiding her feelings behind a number of walls that even she only barely understands. This feels like we're just ignoring the last arc, and I just don't understand what's going on here. I looked back at the ferry scene, and I can't work out how, what was said is not similar to what would need to be said to make this make sense. So it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like it's just a bad translation. I don't know. And again, I always say, I don't like thinking about these things as bad translations because, the fans are doing work for free, but still, it's just not well done. You know what I mean? Anyway, Sachi's not on board with this. "You're the worst, Nagi." And Nagi's just, "Huh? Could you be any more conceited? Didn't you literally just kiss Erika? Thank you! Thank you, Sachi, for the first time ever. Right after you guys had a good thing going on." And Erika pushes back. "Wait, Sachi-chan? And then you just go running off to start dating Hiro-san? And maybe you'll finally get an actual response to my confusion there." And Nagi instead just yells out, "That's exactly right, so I guess we're not dealing with any of this shit. Okay." And Sachi just gets on to him. "Don't talk back. Gross!" And Nagi protests, "I was just being honest." But Erika tells her, "It's fine, Sachi-chan. That's just how things turned out. So that's bad. It's not like it was Nagi-kun's fault anyway, right?" And Sachi, with that, sort of stops what she's doing, and Nagi picks himself up. And Erika tells him, "So good for you, Nagi-kun. Your chance has finally come, huh? You've liked Hiro-chan all this time and worked hard for this after all. So I'm rooting for you." And Sachi is understandably taken aback by that, because that's not really how the M1 arc, how I understood the ending of the M1 arc. But fuck if I know. Fuck if I know anymore. And Nagi bows. "I'll do my best." And he walks up the stairs. Sachi watches him go. And Erika sort of sighs. "Ha. Starting tomorrow, Nagi-kun's going to be studying, huh? I don't want to do the chores." And Sachi just criticizes her. "Chores? Don't you also have tests too?" And Erika snaps back. Well, speak for yourself, Sachi-chan. Don't you have tests? I've been studying." And then Erika goes text someone, and Sachi looks at her and questions, "Is this really okay, Erika? Nagi's going to be taken by Hiro-san, So maybe this will give us an actual more genuine exploration of what Erika's feeling here. Because I need a light, Yoshikawa, that you're not just ignoring the last really good arc. But we see Sachi sort of downcast at this, and Erika gives her this little smile. And then just sort of gets on to her, "Hey, Sachi-chan, it's not like you're taking your anger with Nagi-kun out on me, are you?" And she's sort of caught back by that. We're not dealing with Erika's feelings, I guess. But at least we're addressing that they should be happening, which I guess is a step better than what we've been doing. I don't know. Sachi just freezes. Of course not. I'm just saying this 100 years too early for Nagi to be going out with a girl. I mean, he's been engaged for like 6 months, Sachi. You're a little late for that. And Erika just thinks more like practically, he'll be dead in 100 years. And Sachi goes on, and not only that, when someone as pretty and smart and so perfect as that, not think there's any way ever that someone like that would like him. Which, I don't want to take a moment to untangle Sachi's feelings there, because it's a very tsundere sort of thing. And I don't want to deal with her romantic affections for her fucking brother. Because, you know, at this point. And Erika's a little taken aback at that outburst. And then she says, I mean, it's true that he's kind. And he's not, there's like shoujo sparkles behind her. She's blushing. And he's not quick to get mad at even someone like me. And he's smart too. And sometimes he's even dependable. But stop it. Just stop, Yoshikawa. I'm tired of Sachi. There's not been a good chapter with Sachi since like chapter 20 or something. Back when we didn't have to really deal with this. And Erika like snaps together. They're a perfect match. Erika! And Erika sort of looks at her and Sachi says, I don't think they suit each other. It's better that they don't go out with each other. And Erika just sort of sighs. Like I will say, at this point I feel like there is some feeling that she's like stamping down. It's not just a retcon. I feel like there maybe is something there that she's stomping her feelings deep down. It's weird that we're at this point again after M1, but okay. And Sachi questions, are you okay with this? Well, even if you ask me, the whole fiancé situation was decided by our parents anyway. But Sachi pushes back, as she should after the events of the last arc. But that's not what's going on anymore, is it? And Erika just comments, well, there's nothing we can do. I mean, it's his decision. And she just slams her foot on the floor. Huh? Are you really okay with this? Huh? You know what happens if they start going out, right? You'll be all alone at school, you know. And we have this like image of Sachi, of Hiro and Nagi studying together as like Erika's like behind a wall. Let's study together, just the two of us. He might even stop cooking for you. We see him like feeding Hiro and not her. There's no food for you here. And Erika sort of like looks uncomfortable. That's well, I need to be independent anyway. But Sachi goes on, and that's not all. They'll start getting all flirty right in front of you. I have this image of them like on the couch at the house. You know, Hiro in his lap as Erika's kind of frustrated, and Erika sort of like realizes what. And Sachi goes on. In fact, they'll get along so well they'll go to college together. And just when you thought he landed a job at a big company, they'll get married. He might even end up succeeding the shrine, you know? Are you okay with that, Erika? This is just a lot, Sachi. This is a lot to throw at her. And yeah, I definitely feel like Sachi is sort of projecting her own frustrations onto Erika very blatantly. I don't want to deal with that fact because I don't want to deal with Sachi at any given fucking moment. But that is definitely what she's doing here. And Erika comments, and then she admits to herself our title line and our money shot. I don't like it after all. And Sachi just sort of, with Erika's admission, Sachi's rage kind of fades out. I mean, I don't like it either. And then we see a very familiar pair of shoes arrive at the Amaumi house. Nagi-chan, just what is going on? And she pulls on a scarf, and it's who I guess is that might be who Erika was texting earlier. I will never let this happen, you got that? Nagi steals his resolve to go out with Hiro. Next time, Ai-chan joins the battle. Oh boy, it's Ai! Okay, Ai. Alright, Ai. How are we going to deal with you? I mean, Ai's a very interesting character. I've made my thoughts on Ai very clear. Back during her introductory arc, the whole very sort of holier than thou vibe she has. You know, the muck imagery from like the early 70s, I think. But we'll deal with Ai next week. Let's talk about this chapter. Because like the best Sachi content, you know, it's the sort of, and I've sort of warmed up on it as the chapter went along. Like the best Sachi content, it's the sort of thing that would be very, very well written if it weren't for the whole sibling angle. You know, Sachi unable to really deal with her own feelings about Nagi dating someone, and so she sort of projects them onto Erika, is a very human thing. And it's the sort of, like, uncomfortable, childish, emotional shit that Yoshikawa writes so damn well. These kids who don't really understand their feelings, and they're just sort of trying to make it work as they go, and they just don't fucking know anything. And so they lash out at times, they you know, not even really lie, but, like, misunderstand themselves so clearly that they're basically lying. It's the sort of thing that's really, really common throughout this series, and Yoshikawa does it really well. It's probably, besides the art, the strongest element of the series, is that sort of, you know, understanding of very volatile emotions that Yoshikawa does with such aplomb. The problem, of course, is that it's Sachi denying her feelings for her brother that she shouldn't have at all because, Jesus fucking Christ, I hate Sachi! Anyway, I'm good. I'm stable. I am having a fucking good week. I'm still riding the high of Sonic 50 a few hours ago, and I feel fucking good. So, like, I still think that Erika's reaction is a little subdued after everything. The fact that she would even go this far to deny it, after everything that happened with her and Nagi, you know, in the days after the M1, is a little weird. Like, I guess maybe it's a sort of if you love someone, let them go kind of vibe. But that just doesn't feel like Erika. It feels more like Erika than, you know, Ai or even Sachi, but it still feels a little weird. I'm glad we end the chapter by getting back to the point where she's acknowledging her feelings again, because I, again, really thought we did all this already with her. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite willing to say it works fully, but it works for the most part. You know, it's not perfect by any stretch of the definition, but it does the job, I suppose. And now Ai's here, and she's gonna be all weird about everything because she's Ai, and that's what she does. But we'll see about that next time. All in all, it's a decent chapter. It's far from my favorite. It's far from the highs of the post M1 stuff. But I think it could end up being pretty good. Or let me rephrase. It could end up leading to something really good as this arc continues to play out. So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!